Let's do it. Welcome to It Came From a Box. This is Sergio IM, and last month, Xbox tweeted out this Sonic 2 movie custom Xbox Series S giveaway featuring these very odd Sonic and Knuckle inspired fuzzy controllers. Of course we didn't win, but our friend Chava Ramirez, hope I said that right, had a great idea. So this is where we're at now. Let's make fuzzy controllers. So here's a list of everything we used. First, you're going to need a nice and thick cutting mat. We have a cheap one here that I don't mind getting dirty. Then you're going to need some durable shop towels, an X-Acto knife. I like this dull one because I do end up cutting myself a lot by mistake, and it hurts a lot less when it's dull. Then I have E6000 glue, which I thought would work. It didn't, and you'll see what I had to do later. Popsicle sticks to help spread that glue. Then we have our fur. Then I have these PlayVital skins or covers that we featured in the last video. And of course, we have the blue and red Xbox Core controllers. Now, the idea is to glue the fur onto the front seam of this skin. Sounds easy enough. The fur looks awesome. It's actually better than I expected. Very fuzzy. And I got just enough so if I make a mistake, I have at least 3 to 4 attempts here. Sounds like I'm smart, right? But you'll see. Now, the problem is that these are silicone skins. And as a non-crafty person, you'll soon find out what that means.
Before we continue, this episode is brought to you by our friends over at TokyoTreat and Sakuraco. These are 2 monthly subscription boxes that come packed with a ton of Japanese snacks. They're similar, yet very different experiences. TokyoTreat is a quirky and adventurous Japanese snack box that consists of limited edition and exclusive snacks made up of unique chips, drinks, candy, things like that. And Sakuraco has a more traditional vibe that takes you on a journey with these artisan, authentic snacks made up of tea, sweets, and more, all from local makers, and there's also home goods. This month, TokyoTreat's theme is Sakura Picnic. So we have a lot of cherry blossom themed items such as banana caramel Kit Kats, Sakura latte marshmallows, and our favorite Puku Puku Thai, which is like a wafer sandwich with a strawberry mousse filling. Then for Sakuraco, we have a matcha and mochi theme that has items like a matcha wafer, apricot kuzumochi, and our favorite, these really soft matcha cream daifuku. Oh, and it also included these fancy-dancy Shippo-designed chopsticks. There's way more that we couldn't cover, but my family and I adore these boxes. They're one of the things we look forward to the most each month. So if you like what you see and want to treat yourself, you've got until April 30th to sign up to get these specific boxes. Click the links down in the description below and use our code ICFAB to get $5 off your first box. We couldn't ask for better sponsors. These are brands we really love, and we hope you feel the same. So check out TokyoTreat and Sakuraco because supporting them helps support us.
So I started slathering glue all over this thing, and then the idea was just place it down on the fur, make sure there's contact with every part of the skin here, and let it dry. So then 30 minutes later, I come back just to find that it peels right off. Lo and behold, I find out that, of course, nothing sticks to silicone. Apparently, there are some glues that do stick to it. I believe they're made of silicone, but all of them would take over a week to arrive. And so instead, what I did is I refused to believe that and drove to 2 stores, picked up as much glue as I could find, and tried it again. Based on the luck I've had so far, yeah, most of these did not work. At this point, I really should have reached out to PlayVital about sponsoring this episode, considering how resistant and durable these skins have been. But anyways, the only 2 which sort of worked was this fabric one and super glue. It's not a permanent solution, but it's enough for me to move on to plan B, which I really wanted to avoid, and that is to stitch on the fur. Before that, I first had to cut off the excess fur on the edge, as well as the cutouts for the buttons and analog sticks. I didn't want to slice directly through to avoid cutting off more fur than I needed to, so instead I tried to only cut the fabric holding it together, which worked pretty well. I even had enough fur to do it 2 to 3 more times if I completely botched it. Then I did the same for the other. Glue was holding on just enough for me to make the cuts. Both took about an hour, very tedious, but so far, so good. Now for the hard part. With the glue holding it in place, I then started to sew the fur into all the edges as well as every area around the cutouts to avoid any parts lifting and tearing off. The middle section was the easiest, but the inside of the grips was a huge pain. I've got big hands which make it really difficult to navigate in there, and I pricked my finger like 20 times. Then the last thing I did here was trim off the excess. In the end, each took about 40 minutes to sew, and it actually worked really well. The issue with the glue made it so I didn't feel that good about this whole thing, but after putting it on for the first time, I could really see it coming together, although it did have more of an animal from the Muppets look than Sonic or Knuckles. So using some shears, I gave him a haircut and just clipped enough at the top of each cutout to help see those buttons and analog sticks. Next, along the sides, we've got all this white fabric from those cuts, and it's really not that big of a deal, but I just couldn't leave it alone, and I wish I did. As everyone knows, except me at the time, you don't use spray paint on hair. Not knowing that, I picked up 2 cans, which I thought would be an easy way to get rid of those white edges, so I sprayed them down and quickly combed out as much of the paint as I could, but was still left with these stuck together dark patches, and I also got paint on the non-stick silicone, which led to this kind of sticky paint that would chip off. Lesson learned. The end result is okay. They look cool. I'm sure it's nowhere near as good as the official ones, but at a distance, it looks like I pulled it off. I learned a lot along the way. I have even more respect for crafty people, and technically, I still have enough fur to try it again, but I'm not in a rush to do so. Now to answer the question on everyone's mind, in use, it's just as inconvenient as you'd expect. I did my best with the cutouts, but sometimes the hair just gets in the way. The analog sticks get blocked off. The D-pad is hard to access, but yeah. So for now, I'm just going to display them. And that wraps it up. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments, and if you'd like to attempt this yourself, I'll list all the stuff we bought in the description below. Once again, this is Sergio IM. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you for the next box.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to help us out, you can do so by clicking that thumbs up button. And while you're at it, why not subscribe for more content? It's free. We also love to hear you out, so please leave a comment down below or talk with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm Sergio IM, and I'll see you for the next box.